Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Krishna Balarāma, Jaya Krishna Balarāma, Jaya Krishna Balarāma, Jaya Krishna Balarāma. Jaya Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radesha, Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radesha, Vishaka Jaya Radesha, Vishaka Jaya Radesha, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitya Gaura Haribo 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Tatrāyutam Sabai Charanamenda Bhakti Vedanta Samishila Prabhupada Ki Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Tatrāyutam Bhakti Siddhanta Satitaka Shila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Sama Veda Bhakta Vinda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskṛtyā naram chaiva narottamam devīṁ sarasvatim vyāsim tato jayamudīrye nastaprayeshu vabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be reading from Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 79, text number 16 through 24. So we have a lot of verses to get through. So I've been instructed we'll read the English translations until the 24th verse, which is a purport, and then we'll read the purport, and then do the repetition, and then discuss. So again, text 16 and 17, the title of the chapter, the Lord Balarāma goes on pilgrimage. So translation, there at Setubandha, Rameshwaram, Lord halāyudhaḥ gave brahmanas 10,000 cows in charity. He then visited Kṛtamālā and Tāmraparṇī rivers and the great Malaya Mountains. In the Malaya range, Lord Balarāma found Agastya Ṛṣi sitting in meditation. After bowing down to the sage, the Lord prayers, and then received blessings from him. Taking leave from Agastya, he proceeded to the shore of the southern ocean, where he saw Goddess Durgā in a form of Kanyā-kumārī. Text number 18. Translation. Next he went to Phalgun Tirtha and bathed in the sacred Panchapsara lake, where Lord Vishnu had directly manifested himself. At this place he gave away another 10,000 cows. Text number 19 to 21. The Supreme Lord then traveled through the kingdom of Kerala and Trigarta, visiting Lord Shiva's sacred city of Gokarna, where Lord Durgāti, Lord Shiva, directly manifests himself. After also visiting Goddess Parvati, who dwells on an island, Lord Balarāma went to the holy district of Shuparaka and bathed in the Tapi, Payoshni, and Nirvidinya rivers. He next entered the Dandak forest and went to the river Reva, along with which the city of Mahishmati is found. Then he bathed at Manutirtha and finally returned to Prabhas. Text number 22. The Lord heard from some brahmanas how all the kings involved in the battle between the Kurus and the Pandavas had been killed. From this he concluded that the earth was now relieved of her burden. Text number 23. Wanting to stop the club fight then raging between Bhim and Duryodhana on the battlefield, Lord Balarāma went to Kurukshetra. Text number 24. Okay, this verse we will repeat and recite and read the translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yudhishthira stumam drishtva Yoma Krishna Arjuna api Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshori hagataha Yudhishthira stumam drishtva Yama Krishna Arjuna api Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshori hagataha Yudhishthira stumam drishtva Yama Krishna Arjuna vapi Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshori hagataha. Let's repeat. Yudhishthirastu mam drishtva Yamao Krishna Arjuna vapi Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshori hagataha Yudhishthirastu mam drishtva Yamo Krishna Arjuna vapi Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshori hagataha. Vaishnavis? Yudhishthirastu mam drishtva Yamo Krishna Arjuna vapi Abhivādya bhavam stushnim Kim vivakshurhāgatah. Yudhishthira, King Yudhishthir. 2. But, tam, him, Lord Balarāma. Drishtva, seeing, Yamo, the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev. Krishna Arjuna, Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Api, also. Abhivādya, offering obeisances. Abhavan, they were. Tushnim, silent. Kim, what? Vivakshuha, intending to say. Iha, here. Agataha, has come. Translation and purport by the disciples of Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. When Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev saw Lord Balarāma, they offered him respectful obeisances, but said nothing, thinking, what has he come here to tell us? Please repeat. When Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev saw Lord Balarāma, they offered him respectful obeisances, but said nothing, thinking, what has he come here to tell us? Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the reason why they were silent was that Lord Balarāma was somewhat affectionate toward Duryodhan. And Duryodhan had learned from Balaramji the art of fighting with a club. Thus, when the fighting was going on, King Yudhishthir and the others thought that Balarāma might have come there to say something in favor of Duryodhan, and therefore they remained silent. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kṛtamālāṁ Darati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paridana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to beg the blessings of all the assembled devotees for this opportunity. I'm very out of place sitting here trying to glorify Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam in this assembly of wonderful devotees, and on this very auspicious day of the first day of the celebration of the first anniversary Tirobhav disappearance of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So I beg all your blessings so that we can have a nice discussion today on this glorious Srimad Bhagavatam. So again, I'll just reread the 24th verse. Don't worry, I won't read all of them. When Yudhishthir, Lord Krishna, Arjuna, and the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev saw Lord Balarāma, they offered him respectful obeisances, but said nothing, thinking, what has he come here to tell us? It's a very nice section of Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. So we're nearing the end of the 10th canto. We're in the 79th chapter. And so the detailed discussions that Shukadev Goswami has been giving to Parikshit Maharaj by the great fortune, Parikshit Maharaj begged Shukadev Goswami at the beginning of this canto, don't miss anything. Give me all the details. of this glorious pastimes of Lord Krishna and Lord Balarāma. So Lord Balarāma has, taken note that this Kurukshetra battle is taking place, is going to take place, and so he wanted no part of that, and so he left and has been on yatra. Of course, along the way, visiting many holy places, he took care of a couple of personalities, Balvala, Romaharshana Sutta, as part of his pastimes. And in this section, we see that he completed his yatra, returned back home, and from there got news that the kings who, for the reason which Krishna appeared in the first place, to relieve the burden of earth due to the presence of so many demoniac kings, they have now all been destroyed. And so Lord Balarāma has come back to Kurukshetra, and that's where the last verse that we read. And from this point, he'll begin addressing the topic of this battle between Bhīm and Duryodhana. And so we'll discuss, I thought, three things today. A little bit about visiting holy places. Srila Prabhupada gives some nice commentary in Krishna book about this, visiting holy places. And given that we are in the most holy of Dham, Shri Vrindavan Dham, it's quite appropriate we can discuss that. We can also discuss a little bit about the ambitious Kshatriya kings. Srila Prabhupada uses this word ambitious, which is sometimes has a good connotation and sometimes has a bad connotation. So we'll talk about this ambition and how to rightfully place our ambition. And then we can discuss a little bit about Lord Balarāma's visit to Kurukshetra. Krishna is very mystical. He has given me the opportunity to sneak in a little bit of discussion about Kurukshetra Dham. As we prepare, we'll be going in a few days, many devotees, for a short parikrama there. But we'll discuss when Lord Balarāma arrived, this favoritism of Lord Balarāma to Duryodhana, and how that manifested, and how to understand that, and also the reaction or response from the Pandavas and Krishna himself staying silent. So I thought we could, in the time allotted, discuss those three things, and then we'll leave some time for some discussion as well at the end. So in Krishna book, talking about the holy places, Srila Prabhupada makes some commentary, and I don't know if we can bring up the commentary starting from verse 16. I'll just read it, and if it comes on the screen, no problem. But here I'm just quoting from Krishna book and Srila Prabhupada's commentary on verses 16 through 18. After visiting this place, he gradually proceeded towards Setubandha, the place where Lord Ramchandra constructed the stone bridge from Indra to Lanka. In this particularly holy place, Lord Balarāma distributed 10,000 cows to the local Brahmana priests. It is the Vedic custom that when a rich visitor goes to any place of pilgrimage, he gives the local priests houses, cows, ornaments, and garments as gifts of charity. This system of visiting holy places of pilgrimage and providing the local Brahmana priests with all necessities of life has greatly deteriorated in this age of Kali. The richer section of the population, because of this degradation in Vedic culture, is no longer attracted by these places of pilgrimage. And the Brahmana priests who depended on such visitors have also deteriorated in their professional duty of helping the visitors. These Brahmana priests in the place of pilgrimage are called Panda or Pandita. This means that they were formerly very learned Brahmanas and used to guide the visitors in the details of in the details of the purpose of coming there. And thus both the visitor and the priest benefited by mutual cooperation. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking about, and giving all of us, those of us at least are visitors. I myself am a visitor to this great Krishna Balarāma Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. And so we see great instruction, and Lord Balarāma being the Adi Guru, the teacher of all of us, that when we go on yatra, we are there for a great opportunity for purification. And one very important way in which we purify ourselves, particularly those in grihastha ashram, is we come to the holy dham and we support the local projects by surrendering some fruits of our hard-earned labor. You can see Lord Balarāma twice in two different locales donated 10,000 cows. And this is, very instructive for us that we have a great need to detach from the fruits of our labor, understanding who is the real doer. And when we give charity in the holy dham, we are the beneficiaries. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm giving this charity and this local, yatra will benefit. Panchagoda Prabhu, we need lots of charity here to expand it.
I like his classes.
This is a PSA announcement for supporting these local yatras. But the yatra is not the beneficiary. We are the beneficiary as the surrenderer of the fruits of our labor. Speaking for myself only, we struggle with great attachment to the allurements of the material world. All this hankering of so many material allurements trap us in this web of Maya and keep us from achieving our real purpose, which is to be engaged in eternal love with the Supreme Lord. So how to break this attachment? It is by detaching from the fruits of our labor. And this is what Krishna explains throughout the Bhagavad Gita, particularly chapter 3 and 5, repeatedly breaking this idea, this ahankara, that we are the doer. We are not the doer. And so when we come to the holy dham, it is a great opportunity for us to carry with us some of our wealth and to leave it back in the able hands of the great pandas, the panditas, as Srila Prabhupada explained, who can know how to utilize that wealth for the propagation of spiritual life. Not for the propagation of their own sense enjoyment, which sometimes not sometimes, but we see often in the contamination of the age of Kali Yuga, this dynamic that both the giver is not appropriately giving and the receiver is not appropriately receiving. But we have this wonderful opportunity in Srila Prabhupada's eternal home of Sri Krishna Balarāma Mandir to support many of the wonderful projects that are taking place here. And remember, we are the beneficiary from this detachment, nobody else. It is our purification that occurs. And remember, it says, Srila Prabhupada says, that when rich people come, you may think, oh, I am not rich. We are all rich in something. And we see throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita this teaching. But remember, Krishna does not look, give. He looks at what are we keeping back for ourselves. He is not looking at 1, 10, a million. He is looking in proportion to what we have. What are we surrendering to the Lord? So no amount is too small or meaningless. And no amount is too big or too much. It is simply an individual's opportunity to renounce and detach some portion of their facilities for the pleasure of the Lord. So this is the formula that we can try to apply in our life. So if we thought we had our escape card by saying we are not rich, no, we all have some opportunity. And this visiting of the holy dhams is a great opportunity for us to recharge our batteries and to purify our senses so that when we go back to wherever we may come from, we can carry on this practice of devotional service. And it reminded me of another very important lesson. When we go to the holy dham, how to take advantage of that opportunity. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur taught us this lesson when he was questioning one of his disciples who had not come to the morning class. I think it was the morning class. And he asked later when he saw him, "Where were you during the class?" And he said, "I had gone out to take darshan of some of the well-known deities around here." And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur replied, "I hope your eye exercise was beneficial." I said, "What? All you got out of that was the exercising of your eyelids." We don't see the holy dham with our eyes. We see the holy dham with our ears, through shravanam, through hearing from the bona fide acharya like His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. By hearing from them who have actually had darshan of the dham, we then can experience all that the holy dham has to offer. So we can think and meditate how to embark upon enthusiastic hearing, which includes reading Srila Prabhupada's books when we come to the holy dham. This is the way we can take advantage of our yatra and take full opportunity to purify the self. So by detaching from some of our wealth and by intensely hearing, seeing through the ears the holy dham, we can take advantage. And this is one of the lessons that Lord Balarāma is teaching us through his travels throughout the holy places of India. So I'll just make one comment on this place, one place that Lord Balarāma went. He went to this Panchapsara lake, and somehow it caught me, and I just looked it up. And there's a very sweet pastime of this Panchapsara lake. Once there were the great Rishi, Achyuta Ṛṣi, was in intense meditation. And as unfortunately often happens, when Lord Indra takes note of one taking to intense austerity, he seeks to deviate them, but to not threaten his position. So he sent these 5 beautiful apsaras to see this Achyuta Ṛṣi and try to distract him from his meditation. And Achyuta Ṛṣi becomes very angry at this, and he curses these 5 apsaras to become crocodiles in this lake that was just next to where Achyuta Ṛṣi was situated. And this place became a very interesting place. Many personalities had come there to see this place. And Srila Prabhupada comments about this in Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Lord Ramchandra went and visited this lake. Lord Balarāma obviously went and visited this place. And Srila Prabhupada comments that actually, according to the narration of Narada Muni, it was Arjuna who delivered these 5 apsaras. And of course, this narration comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went and visited this place. So we can see some great personalities, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Ramchandra, Lord Balarāma, and of course Arjuna. So great personalities have visited this place. So I thought that I would share that as I found that commentary, and I had not heard of this place previously, and so just wanted to share. I don't know if anyone has been there or not. So now let us discuss a little bit about Lord Balarāma's appearance at Kurukshetra and his hearing that the ambitious kings have been destroyed. And so I'll read again from a little bit of Srila Prabhupada's commentary from Krishna book. And this will take us to both verses 22, 23, and 24, Srila Prabhupada's commentary. When Lord Balarāma returned to Prabhu's Tirtha, he heard from the Brahmanas that most of the Kshatriyas in the battle of Kurukshetra had been killed. Balarāma felt relieved to hear that the burden of the world had been reduced. Lord Krishna and Balarāma lessened the burden of military strength created by the ambitious Kshatriya kings. This is the way of materialistic life. Not being satisfied by the absolute necessities of life, people ambitiously create extra demands, and their illegal desires are checked by the laws of nature or the laws of God, appearing as famine, war, pestilence, and similar catastrophes. So Srila Prabhupada here is commenting nicely that, and we see this very prevalent here today, these ambitious kings. There is so much quarrel in the world for resources, for natural resources. Today we see there's the current trend is this fight for rare earth minerals. And these rare earth minerals are very, very valuable because they're able to be used to manufacture some of the latest technology that we all depend on. And so it has become a very precious commodity, and people are fighting for this. But none of it is ours to fight for. We showed up in this world with nothing, and we are leaving this world with nothing. So who are we to claim ownership of any of these things? We have no claim to any of it. And so Srila Prabhupada makes a comment that these are illegal desires. Now, I think if you check any law books, it is not illegal to build a factory, to produce some goods, to sell it in the marketplace. So we say, how is it illegal? As we know, it may be legal by man's laws, but we have to ultimately answer to Krishna's laws. Those laws reign supreme. And so society may promote this gross overconsumption and consider it actually a sign of advancement. Right? Countries compete and they measure their advancement by their gross domestic product, how much they can produce, or by their trade surpluses, a very popular topic right now in the world geopolitical system. But all of it is nonsense, because these are all illegal activities. And we know, if I commit a crime, what is the result? Punishment. So why do we see all the travesty around us? As Srila Prabhupada writes, famines and war and pestilence. Why? Because of these illegal activities. Krishna has given us Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagat jigam jagat tena taktena bunjitaha margadaha kashasvidanam. There is a quota that we all have. We have resources that have been assigned to us. By who? Ishavasya, the Supreme Lord. And so to the extent we live within this, what is absolutely necessary, this is what Srila Prabhupada writes, those who are not satisfied by the absolute necessities. Krishna is not saying, don't use the resources of the world. He's saying you use them for your absolute necessities. But any additional consumption is illegal. It is a breakdown of the system the Lord has created. Because when we all act in this way, then there is no shortage. All the shortages we experience in the world are simply due to this overconsumption. Srila Prabhupada talks about this atyahara in Nectar of Instruction, that how it leads to so much conflict and so much disturbance in society. So this is the situation that we see prevalent today, and it helps us at least explain why there is so much turmoil. So Lord Balarāma is very happy that these ambitious kings have been ridden from the earth. I don't think that's a word. Have been ridden from the earth. And now society can be again at peace and take to the process of devotional service. But unfortunately, as Kali Yuga progressed, These ambitious kings have returned, and we are all ambitious kings in some way, some small way, kings of our own domain, our home, some aspect. So don't think, again, this applies to the others, also in our own activities. So we can try to see that how we can try to live this life that Lord Balarāma was wanting us to celebrate or wanting us to achieve, and he himself was celebrating by returning back to Kurukshetra. So now we'll conclude with just a short discussion on this relationship between Duryodhana and Lord Balarāma. So I'll read a little bit more from Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada's commentary. When Lord Balarāma appeared on the scene, King Yudhishthira and his younger brothers Nakul and Sahadev, as well as Lord Krishna and Arjuna, immediately offered him their respectful obeisances, but they did not speak at all. The reason they were silent was that Lord Balarāma was somewhat affectionate towards Duryodhana, who had learned from Balarāma the art of fighting with a club. When the fighting was going on, King Yudhishthira and others thought that Balarāma might have come there to say something in favor of Duryodhana, and they remained silent, and therefore they remained silent. Both Duryodhana and Bhīmsen were very enthusiastic in fighting with clubs, and in the midst of a large audience, each very skillfully tried to strike each other. So Srila Prabhupada here is commenting about this relationship. And he's very perfect, as he always is in his word choice. He says somewhat affectionate. So, we know that Lord Balarāma has this special place in his heart for Duryodhana. And there are many, different reasons for that. But one reason we hear in commentary that Krishna, he enjoys all different types of rasas. And when different obstacles get presented to Krishna, it gives him the happiness of overcoming them. Right? Sometimes through struggle, we appreciate the reward that we achieve. And so like that, Krishna also enjoys that. But nobody can give him any challenge or struggle. He is the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we see this in many of Krishna's pastimes. But there are the pure devotees of the Lord, like Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda in the most famous of all pastimes, Damodar Lila. She is able to invoke the mood of anger in Krishna and to invoke tears. And Jiva Goswami comments, these are not false tears. These are real tears. And how? Because of the deep purity of love of Mother Yashoda. Big demons are not even able to invoke the smallest mood of anger from Krishna. He is just happily, playfully destroying all of them. But Krishna's dearmost devotees, they are able to bring out this mood for the pleasure of Krishna. Because Krishna enjoys, like in this example, the challenge of battle between child and mother, and that motherly love, and sometimes that chastisement, that gives pleasure to Krishna. So similarly, Lord Balarāma also plays this role, and sometimes presents opposition, right? In the marriage of Arjuna and Subhadra, Lord Balarāma objected. And that gave the opportunity for Krishna to create some new plan, use his creative capabilities, and to circumvent this plan. And so Lord Balarāma, knowing this, he sometimes takes these, kind of opposition positions. In the battle between, Duryodhana and Kauravas against the Pandavas, also Krishna is experiencing this opposition rasa. So Lord Balarāma plays this. But we know factually, Lord Balarāma is not pleased with the condition of Duryodhana's heart. Duryodhana's heart is full of malice. And this brings a very important and powerful instruction for us. that Duryodhana was the disciple of Balaramji, the Adi Guru, the source of all Guru Tattva. And yet, he was not able to obtain the real gift from Guru. The real gift from Guru is not the art of fighting or the art of conquering some material affair. The gift from Guru is to conquer the influences of the material energy and to finally break all of these attachments and reattach to the lotus feet of Shri Radha Sundar Krishna Balaram Gaurnitai. This is the gift Guru gives. And while Duryodhana was favored by Balaramji, we can see he did not achieve what it is that one should gain from relationship with the spiritual master. Duryodhana, it's explained in Garga Samhita, he had even inquired about Lord Balarāma's Rasa Leela, different ways to worship and please Lord Balarāma. Even the 1,000 names of Lord Balarāma, all this he had inquired. But it didn't work to purify the heart. And so what does this mean for us? That we must surrender to the spiritual master in a mood of submission, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we want to obtain the gift of Krishna Prema, the spiritual master can give. Because just being favorably glanced upon by the Guru, if our condition, our mood is not proper, it will not happen. Duryodhana could not rectify his heart. So we must approach the spiritual master not in the mood of, dear Guru, please sanction these desires of mine. That is not the mood. The mood of approach to the spiritual master is, I am irresponsible with my free will and my ability to choose what I want. You please tell me what is best for me. You please take charge of my life. With that type of submission, then one can obtain the benefit of the spiritual master. So though we may be even favorably, inclined or viewed by our spiritual master, we should deep introspection to see, are we taking advantage of that? I know myself, I have been extraordinarily blessed by my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, but sadly have not been able to rectify my Duryodhana-like heart. So reading this, at least we'll pray now that it can actually surrender to the spiritual master. Remembering, even if being favorably looked upon by the Guru, it is not a guarantee for us if we have not prepared our consciousness to receive that favor. And we may acquire some small capabilities, but we will leave back the greatest of gift, which is this wonderful opportunity to re-engage in pure devotional service. My final comment I'll take some liberty because we are speaking about Lord Balarāma and Shri Kurukshetra Dham. So this Kurukshetra Dham is a very, very auspicious place. And this year is a very important year because it was on December 1st, 1975, that Srila Prabhupada took some of his disciples from Delhi and they went to Kurukshetra. And there they met some local people, and there Srila Prabhupada, in the presence of Hari Sauri Prabhu, Ambarish Prabhu, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and a few others, expressed his desire that there be a grand Krishna Arjuna temple built. They were situated, standing right at Yojitas, where Krishna had spoken the Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada expressed this desire. And that, again, was 50 years ago, December 1st, 1975. And quite coincidentally, this year, December 1st, 2025, is Gita Jayanti, the auspicious day in which the Bhagavad Gita was recited. So we pray to Srila Prabhupada that this dream of his becomes fulfilled. And of course, many of you know that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj made it one of his key missions in life. Though he had many responsibilities to open many temples that were direct instructions to him, when he saw that this desire of Srila Prabhupada was not being fulfilled, it was not manifesting, he took it upon himself some 30 plus years ago to begin the process to manifest this dream of Srila Prabhupada. And by his unlimited blessings, drawing upon the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, this project is nearing completion. And again, quite coincidentally, this verse refers to Kurukshetra. The devotees of Kurukshetra have brought for all of you some mercy from Kurukshetra, some water from Brahm Sarovar, which is the Sarovar in which the Krishna and the whole Yadu dynasty came to bathe during the eclipse, and all the residents of Vrindavan had come to know that they might be able to see Krishna. And so they have brought some water for all of you, and also some dust from Yojitas, where Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. So please be sure in participating in the Tirobhav festival, you can stop by their table and they'll give you this gift and invite you to come and take darshan of this great Kurukshetra Dham. They put on great tourism opportunities for all of us to experience Shri Kurukshetra Dham. Many are going after this festival for a 3-day parikrama. But please, whatever your schedule allows, and we'll pray to Srila Prabhupada and to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and all the devotees who are working hard to manifest this project. So thank you for the opportunity to speak a little bit about that as well. So just in summary, this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of our presence here in Sri Vrindavan Dham by offering some of the fruits of our labor, remembering Krishna is looking at not what we give, but what we hold back for ourselves. And to intensify our mood of hearing as the opportunity and the means to see the holy Dham. And to remember that it is Lord Balarāma was celebrating the demise of the ambitious kings and their illegal activities that made him very happy. And so for ourselves to try to live within the absolute necessities of life is the opportunity for us to please Lord. And finally, this being favored by the spiritual master is a two-way street in which we must prepare our own heart and mood to fully receive the mercy of the spiritual master. Saw his heart was not rectified, though he had the favorable glance. So it's not just to come into the favorable glance, but to actually present ourselves in this mood of submission and inquiring how we can best serve the spiritual master. And if we do, then we can take advantage of that relationship. Thank you very much. Grahantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Any comments, corrections, discussion, please? Yes, Prabhuji.
In the scripture, it instructs that one sees the different pastime places of the Lord, so we do go and see different places. And often we've heard that better just to hear from the self-realized soul. Is there a balance that, you know, we can, as long as we have the proper mentality, also go take darshan of other deities, other temples, and other holy places, maybe just time, place, and circumstance? Is that the basic criterion?
Yeah, I think the idea can be, you know, when we go to these places to study and hear what has happened in those places. Sometimes when we go, to the banks of Govind Kund and hear the pastime of Lord Indra and Krishna and the lifting over the hill, the absorption of that hearing is intensified by being in that place. So going to the place is not like we should not leave. No, that is, but the point is to just lay eyes on these places won't fully rectify the heart. But by seeing, we can often deepen our absorption and understanding the great potency of these wonderful places. When we go see the different temples, the deities of the Lord, like we go and see the 6 Goswami temples, just meditating and reading in this Vrindavan Parikrama book about the pastime of this temple and how they were established and how Rupa Goswami found the Govinda deity and how this happened, and this can enthuse the heart so that when we go see, our absorption rectifies. So that's how I think we can balance the two. We see and understand, but seek to understand what it is that we're actually seeing by hearing from those who have understood it. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for an absolute brilliant class. Lord Balarāma was very generous when he went to the different places of pilgrimage. And I've noticed there's so many places of pilgrimage around Braj. We go to Radhakund, we go to Varshana, Tirakadamba, and the devotees go, and we hear about the pastimes, and at the local temples, generally the tendency is to give a few rupees instead of giving generously. And sometimes even we give a few rupees there, and then we come to our own home temple, our own home society, ISKCON, and we're also not so generous. Do you have any comment about that? What our attitude should be and sense of generosity?
We are fully surviving on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is giving us every day, every moment of our life existence. If we just have some recognition of that, then I think our mood of generosity can emerge. When we have faith in the protection of the Lord, right? Our fear of giving, if I give this, what about me? Srila Prabhupada, what was his mood? When in the early days in New York, whatever donation came that night before, he would go to the grocery store and he would empty the whole, whatever he had to buy bhoga. And even there he would start bartering with the cashiers, not understanding the system. But he would empty the bhoga, empty it. He didn't think, let me keep back a few dollars because tomorrow, what if no donations come today? What am I going to eat? That was not his mood. He just gave everything to Krishna. He would cook and feed all the guests sumptuously. Once they were full, whatever was left, he would honor. And what was the reciprocation of that generosity? Look at the extreme wealth that Srila Prabhupada attracted in these short 12 years. From abject poverty, not even having a bathroom in the place he was staying, but fully surrendered. And the result? Unlimited facilities. So our mood of generosity, it comes with the humility that we understand it is Krishna only who is maintaining us. And we should give. We are the extreme beneficiaries of all the sacrifices that have gone on to establish these places. We stay in beautiful guest houses, honor prasadam in beautiful Krishna hall. We honor, in beautiful restaurants, hear amazing kirtan, wonderful yatras going to all the different holy places. How much we would have to pay if we were experiencing this in a material realm. If you go to Disney World, what is it? The number one thing people complain about Disney World? how expensive it is. This is not free either. This is not free. And if we treat it that way, we are the beneficiary. So we should try to surrender. Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Mercy. I was just going to say that not just donation that we can offer. Of course, if we have something, we should offer donation. It says also that familiarity breeds contempt. So sometimes devotees, they think they're still visitors when they come to the temple, even though they live in the temple, the surrounding area. We should be asking, what service can I do?
Yes.
What can I do for the deities? So they can give their time, they can give their energy, and mostly I would say they should help spread Krishna consciousness by distributing books.
Yes.
Or prasadam distribution, outreach programs. So in that way, that is worth more than money.
Haribol. Yes.
If you give your
Time.
contribution, time, energy, and your ability or skills and expertise.
Yes. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. You have time for one more?
Panchagoda always encourages me to say something. I just did. No, on your question about when to see, when to take darshan, when to hear, the point that was being made is, I hope you exercised, you had good exercise with your eyelids. He was speaking at the time. So time, place, and circumstance. When Srila Prabhupada was giving class, there was nowhere else to be, not for anyone. Like I said, I couldn't say, well, I'm making your breakfast. He would look at me like I'm crazy. What do you mean you're making my breakfast? I'm speaking. And without hearing, there's no question of seeing. That's what we chant every day. Open my eyes. So first you have to open your eyes, and that happens by hearing. So it's one thing, we can go here and there, see the deities, Madan Mohan, Radha Damodar, all these things. But if there's someone speaking that you should hear from, that's the priority. That comes first. As far as what we give, even in Calcutta once, you know Calcutta, first floor, the temple was on the first floor, the veranda, Prabhupada was there. And there was a kirtan party. We would say professional kirtan people. So some of the devotees, they were watching. And then Prabhupada looked, he said, you have to give a donation because you've enjoyed. You listen to their kirtan, you're watching their kirtan, and then you just said, let them go, they're just kirtan party. So whatever we do, we always have a debt. If we're taking anything from someone, we're hearing from someone, somehow or other we're enjoying some situation, we become indebted to those people. So he said, pay your debt. And even when Prabhupada had someone to see him, at the end, because he said, I don't want anything, Prabhupada said, you have to pay him. He's not one of my disciples, he's not a volunteer. You have to pay him, otherwise I'm indebted. So to see things, in the proper way. Prabhupada said when he was a child, he was trained so much by his parents not to waste anything. He said if there was a piece of rice between two floorboards, he was trained to take that piece of rice and, like we were trained as children, you offer it up to God and you eat it, he said. Not even one piece of rice would be wasted. So we're indebted every moment of our lives unless every moment we're constantly engaged in service.
Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki.
The Panchagoda Prabhu.